What will be the secret to standing out on Etsy in 2025? Today, we're going to be talking about what you need to do in your Etsy shop moving forward and what you need to do today so you don't get left behind. To illustrate this, I'm going to use examples from my actual Etsy shop, Begonia Rose Co., which I will link in the description. I'm going to talk to you about what worked with Etsy back then when I started in 2016, and I'm going to show you what you need to do differently today. Because if I had been trying to do those strategies in 2016, in 2022, 23, or 24, I would not have ever gotten sales on Etsy. Let me show you how I have evolved with Etsy, and I'm going to give you these tips because these are ways that you need to evolve with your shop today and moving into 2025. When I started on Etsy back in 2016, I listed one product. It was actually a floral letter J made out of foam and toothpicks, and it was something I had in my wedding. I just took one picture, I put up a few words, hardly any description, and one price point, $75. I promise you, no one would have found it if I had listed it that way this year. If I was starting an Etsy shop, I would not even list a product like this as my first product. Instead, what I would do launching an Etsy shop in 2025, I would absolutely front load my product mix with loss leaders. Let's say I wanted to stay in the same product category, wedding, baby, nurseries, birthday, event. I would get into selling the supplies. First of all, these are a great loss leader, right? It's cost me 30 cents. I can still make $1 on this and do high volume. The reason I would front load with loss leaders here in 2025 is because order velocity matters more than ever. We really need to get that order number going up really high, really fast. And that is going to establish your shop as having a positive quality score, and it will elevate the ranking of your other items, like maybe your more expensive items in search results. So front load with loss leaders, and I would sell them almost at cost just to get a shop that has 100 sales or 1,000 sales. You really didn't need to do that back in 2016, but now with the way Etsy works, I highly recommend it. The next thing that you need to do if you're launching an Etsy shop or trying to grow your Etsy business is to heavily focus on premium brand level photography. Back when I started my Etsy shop, I literally had one photo. It was the letter J, and it was just leaning against a wall, and it was sitting on a carpeted floor. It was like cheap builder grade carpeting from our 1-bedroom apartment, and luckily the product was colorful, and that's literally the only thing that probably made people click on it. So in order to really convince someone to even spend $1 with you, even on your loss leaders, you want to make sure that you are either doing the photography really well yourself or hiring it out. Now, I understand you don't want to hire it out. You don't want to invest in your business that's not making money yet. I would just ask yourself, how committed are you to growing this business, and what is the opportunity cost of you not growing it faster? Actually, in our program, we have a whole area in our resources of students who are actually professional with creating mockups and doing photography, and they are offering their services to others within the program, and they share their portfolio, which is prime, amazing. You could do it yourself. I would just say, don't plan on your first 100 photos, your first 500 photos looking good enough. And that's just to set a lower expectation so that you can see the number of reps it's going to take to get to the level of quality that will be successful on Etsy today. It's a very different level of quality that you need today compared to 8 years ago. No matter how good your product is today, you will not be successful on Etsy without this element of elevated brand imagery. Now, the next thing that you need to do to be successful on Etsy in 2025 that you actually didn't have to do 5 to 8 years ago is really surrounding your suppliers and how you build those supplier relationships. Most people automatically go to Alibaba, AliExpress, and Temu to find suppliers. It is to the point where some of those suppliers are actually stealing Etsy photos. They are too well known. They are the go-to for supplies for an Etsy shop or for product in general. What we want to do in 2025 is going to be different, and it has to do with the SMU strategy. Let me know if you know about SMUs, special makeups, if you have ever dabbled with SMUs, or if you want to learn more about this. But the entire idea idea is that you are working with the manufacturer on coming up with a very limited, exclusive line just for you, where you have exclusive rights to selling that thing. It might be that thing with a special color. For me, it was actually this specific flower. It might look white on camera, but it's actually like a very light pink color. And it's almost like a petal pink, a ballet pink, not peachy, not Barbie pink, but it is a very difficult color to find that actually you cannot get on Temu, on AliExpress, on Alibaba, or on Amazon, or at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I had these special made from a manufacturer that I was working with in Taiwan. It was actually way cheaper to do it this way. When you are sourcing materials or products, you want to make sure that there is some barrier to entry for your competition, and that the supplies that you are using are not the supplies on the first page of search results on AliExpress. That is not going to work anymore. Remember, special makeups, manufacturer relationships, it can be really helpful to giving you a competitive advantage. Okay, now let's talk about print on demand. What worked back in 2016 compared to now. And this has to do with the size of your production partner. Printful, Printify, Printed Mint, Guten, Gelato, right? A lot of print on demand sellers know about those bigger print on demand providers. They sponsor YouTube videos. They have affiliate programs. Etsy coaches and Etsy gurus, right? Like myself, we are constantly promoting the big guys who can afford to pay us a cut. If you've noticed, I don't promote them or give links to them on my channel. Doing that in 2016, fine. But the secret to being successful with print on demand now is actually going with smaller production partners. Sometimes these are mom and pop shops. Sometimes they are actual production partners that have multiple clients, but sometimes it might be someone local, the local embroidery shop down the street, or the local engraving company who does, all the trophies for the local sports teams. It does not need to be near you at all. It's about the size and the flexibility that that production partner has. They are much more accommodating, more willing to test small batches of things for you. And it's just a very different level of service that you would see. So to be successful with print on demand in 2025, I highly recommend looking to that as the next evolution of your print on demand business. And if you need help sourcing local production partners or just smaller production partners that aren't local to you, we can help you with that in our one-on-one coaching. I hope these few tips were helpful to you. And if you have any questions about any of this, or you would like to chat more about our one-on-one coaching, go ahead and click the link below and you can schedule a free call with myself and my team, and we can chat with you more about your goals and just show you what the coaching looks like. If you like the video, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one.
After I joined the program, I gained so much clarity. Dylan is a wealth of knowledge and she shares all of her secrets with you. That coaching aspect of it, you can't get that through reading or watching videos.